and welcome to this stretch video. Today we're going to look at the quad. So that is the great big muscle that runs along the front of the thigh. So it's made up of 4 muscles and it's notorious for getting tight. Tight quads can lead to a lot of pain in the knees, so it's really important that we stretch them. So let's begin in a standing quad stretch. And if balance is an issue for you, please bring a hand to a table or a chair. And so slowly start to draw the right heel towards your seat. And so for most stretches, the archetype of a stretch, the family of a stretch, the way that we stretch are all very similar. So for the quad, it will always be a movement that brings the heel towards the seat. If you are in that form of a movement, you know that you're going to be stretching the front of the thigh. So let's take a couple of breaths here on this side. And by the very nature of holding your leg up, you'll also get this stretch through the front of the shoulder. So that action of reaching an arm back to grab that leg is a nice stretch through front of arm and shoulder and chest. To switch sides, and of course in your own time, you can hold these for much longer than we're going to do today. I just want to give you a few ideas of how to stretch it. And a little tip from me, particularly if you're more open of thigh and you struggle to feel this, is if you tuck your tailbone underneath you, so you get a little push forwards of that pelvis, really helps to stretch a little bit more. So a couple more breaths. So deep breath in, you're fueling the stretch with your breath. Deep breath out. And then gently release. And let's start to come down. So that's number 1. You can do that standing quad stretch. Number 2, step your right foot forwards and come into a low lunge. And bring your hips forward. And so even though in this version at the moment, there's no heel to seat, but by the very nature of sinking these hips forwards, you start to feel a little bit of a lengthening down the front of this left leg. So it's not huge, and we'll intensify it in a moment. So keep sinking hips forwards. Let's take another 2 breaths. So it's your low lunge. And then some of you, not all, but some of you will be able to take this heel to seat variation in your lunge. And you can do it with the same arm or the opposite arm to leg. So let's go same arm to leg first of all. So bend that knee, grab a hold of the foot. My advice would be to bring a cushion or a blanket underneath that left knee. And particularly this one, this could be one that you don't do if you are very tight of quad. It won't feel nice for you to do this because you might be a little too far back and right into that patella, that knee bone. So you want to make sure that you are at least open enough of the quad that you can sink your hips forwards just to roll off that knee. So let's gently release. You've been there for a few breaths. Pull back for a second and then just take opposite, have a go at doing opposite hand to foot. So for this one, I need to twist my body first to then bend the knee and then grab the foot. Again, you get that lovely shoulder stretch. So let's take a deep breath in and out. If you can't reach, don't worry, you can just stay into the stretch here. Of course, you could also, if you have a yoga strap, make a loop to catch, literally lasso that foot to hold the stretch here. That's another option for you. And release, and then let's have a feel second side. So we bring left leg forwards. Coming into the lunge first of all, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take same hand to same foot. So reach behind and catch. And there are so many other ways of stretching the quad, which is what I am going to go through with you in this video. So there is no need to do this if it doesn't feel good. This is the most intense version, I would say, just by the very nature, again, of that knee potentially grinding into the floor. So full breaths in and out. Try to relax as much as you can. Let's gently release. Let's take opposite hand to foot. So I open that foot a little bit off to the side. It enables me to find a bit more space to sink the hips forwards. To sweep left arm back. There's the lovely twist. Again, staying here, or maybe having a feel of lasso or grab. Chest is open. Of course, the other really nice way of stretching out your quads is a foam roller, which I'm not going to do in this video. I can do it in another video. But using a foam roller is a really nice way of releasing through the muscles as well. So let's gently release, hardest one over, and just take leg back and let's come down onto the belly. So this one is super nice, super simple. Simply bend right knee, reach behind and take the foot. And you can take that same action that I said to you standing up of tucking the tailbone underneath you. So you're still getting a sense of pushing that pelvis forwards. Take another few breaths. And release. Let's go second side. Another action, as well as this tucking of pubic bone underneath you, another action you can play with is to think about lengthening your kneecap away. So as if I'm pushing my knee towards the back of my mat, not down, but back in space, so that you feel like you're lengthening your thigh. That's another little tiny tweak that helps you sometimes to access the muscle in a slightly stronger way. It's all these intricate, tiny little shifts that you can do yourself to intensify a stretch or back off a stretch. And release. So that's a very gentle, supported way. Another gentle, supported way is, again, to simply take that same archetype, that same shape, and to do it on the side. Reaching behind, so particularly nice if you don't like the feeling of lying on your belly. Perhaps if you were pregnant, this would be a nicer place for you to get that quad stretch. Again, heel to bum. Again, tuck and push my pubic bone forwards. And again, the same feeling of lengthening kneecap away. And let's take that to the second side. So just turning away from you for a moment. Drawing heel to seat. Once again, a lovely shoulder stretch as you roll that shoulder back to catch hold of your foot. Another inhale and exhale. To release and come back onto your belly for a moment. Another really nice version, and we do this in yin yoga, is a stretch called Cattail. And so from here, I would lift, let's say left leg. So I'm part on my belly, part in a twist. And it's the back leg that I now want to reach for. So bending right leg, reaching left arm behind you is, again, another really supportive stretch. If you don't feel this, my guidance would be to take that bottom knee and see if you can push it back in space rather than it being tucked forward, is what I mean by that. Yeah, so lift up, push back. Again, super nice one. And so this is what I mean by please don't hurt yourself trying to do these quad stretches in a lunge if it doesn't serve you well. There's so many other choices. So let's take a couple more breaths in cattail. And then showing you that on the other side. So I come back onto belly for a moment. I lift my right knee up, roll a little bit off to that side, so reach behind, and again, hand to foot. And anything that's comfortable with the head, you can support it, you can bring it down. Making this as restorative as you need to. Again, think rather than knee forwards, take knee back. Take another inhale and exhale. This is a really nice one. I like this. The lovely cattail. And release. So the final one I'm going to show you, come on up, come to sit, is a half Varasana, is what we would call this in yoga terms. And I would extend my left leg. Again, I get that same action of heel towards seat. Now, for many of you, this might be enough just to sit upright. If you're tight, you will already start to feel this. Always that little caveat of, because of the linkages of your quad into your knee, is just being really careful with all of these poses that they don't aggravate your knee. If they do, you take one of the easier ones, such as the one on the belly or the one on the side, or lovely cattail. Because this is quite a strong flexion here of the knee. So this might be enough. For those of you that have a little bit more opening, you're welcome to start to move back. Again, get that feeling, tuck bottom underneath. Some of you would be able to happily come down onto your forearms. Again, listen to your body at each stage. How is my knee doing? How is my knee feeling? And some of you might want to come all the way down. And you could bring a cushion underneath your head just to give yourself a little bit of support. And then once you're lying down, for those of you more open, that's when you might start to feel the stretch. So this is quite, I would say, an advanced move just because of the position you're putting the knee in. I'm just demoing this just for those of you who are a little bit more open here. So let's take another inhale and exhale wherever you are. You could be in the sitting up version. And then we slowly, a little bit tricky to get out. You need to push your way out. Take your time to unfold that leg. Again, it's been in that quite strong state of flexion. And then let's move and feel second side. And as I talk about a lot in my classes, you know, different sides, different experiences. So for me on that side, right leg felt absolutely fine. Today already in this side, I'm a little sore in this leg today. This might be where I would stay. So just please don't, what I'm trying to say is don't force your one side into what the other side can do. You're treating it almost as a different body. So have a feel. Again, you take your gauge from the feedback that the body's giving you. If all is okay, again, maybe tuck that tailbone, lengthen your knee away from the crown of the head. And then of course, option to come all the way down. And you might note that for me on this side, that knee is a little more lifted. It's a slightly tighter side. A few more breaths. To lift up. And of course, those of you who are super open could do that stretch with both knees bent. Yeah, again, taking your options of being here, breathing. And of course, if it feels good, going all the way down. Ordinarily, if I had a cushion to hand, I would support myself a little bit in this. It's creating quite a strong arch in my back, which isn't necessarily ideal. I wouldn't be here personally for very long. This is just a demo for you if you are a little bit more open. Yeah, but otherwise taking any of the other versions. So just gently come out. Let's take a moment to stretch out the legs. So in summary, any of those or a combination of those or all of those you could do. You have your standing quad stretch, you have your lunge quad stretch, you have quad stretch on the belly, quad stretch on the side, you have cattail, and you have half seated quad stretch. I hope that is useful just to give you some ideas of ways that you can stretch the front of the thigh. In your own time, do these for much longer if you can. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.